Hello and a warm welcome to the Gulf Coast of Florida and the aptly named Gulfport for round 2 of the NGK F1 Powerboat Championship. Now, round 1 was held in Port Neches in Texas, and that saw Tracy Hawkins romp to victory in the final.
Oh, and Foster gets that boat up in the air. Wesley Cheatham will take the win in heat number 3. Tracy Hawkins will win round number 1 of the 2018 NGK F1 Powerboat Championship.
Great weekend in Texas to kick off the 2018 season. And early on, Ashton Rinker leads by just 2 points ahead of Wesley Cheatham. Tracy Hawkins is third on 2:57, and then Spencer Love in 4th place. Now, the flat waters of Texas are going to be completely different to the salty, rough waters of the Gulf of Mexico. That's the challenge for championship leader Ashton Rinker.
Here in Gulfport, you're facing not just the factor of the wind, but also as well as the tides. You got a low tide, high tide moving in and out, creating swells. So it's actually making you as the driver, release off the pedal some and kind of dive the boat down slow and come out. So I'm a big fan of rough water. I like the way it handles with the boats. I like how it's more challenging as a driver. And it makes you understand your boat a lot better because, your boat and the driver got to become one.
Another man to watch this weekend has to be Johnny Fleming. He's used to the calm waters, though, of Lake Conroe in the woodlands in Texas. This will be a challenge.
This is the big water. It's pretty heavy. There is a lot of boat traffic. The first race in Port Neches is a river with no boat traffic. The boat traffic meaning that the waves that they take will actually, from bouncing and taking off, will come back on the race course at some time. So when you're going down the back straight or the front straight, you'll hit sometimes called a rogue wave. And then the wind, a little bit higher winds today with this make bigger swells. So there's 2-foot swells in the first turn right now, which is a lot different than the first race. First race was none, flat.
Another man ready for choppy waters is fellow Texan from Willis this time, Tracy Hawkins. He's a bit of a specialist when it comes to rough weather.
Gulfport is a very rough race. I've been known to be pretty good at rough water racing. You have to really be on your toes. You have to know your boat really well and anticipate a lot of what's happening. Everyone's fast here. We have Greg Foster, we have Johnny Fleming, we have Wesley Cheatham, Spencer Love, Justin Terry, the whole group. There's not any one boat in this field that we're raced with that cannot win.
That may be the case, but there's a bigger challenge on hand for this qualifying heat because we've got a reverse grid. So Spencer Love, who was the fastest man with the most points, starts at the back of the dock, and in front of him are the slower boats, and the man who scored the least amount of points, and that's Fred Dior, will start in pole position. So as you can see, a long way to go for Love, Foster, Rinker, and Cheatham. They'll have to get past the slower boats in order to win. So the boats are lined up, and we are ready to go racing from round 2 in Gulfport. Join us after the break.
NGK F1 Powerboat Championship on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by TireRack.com. Revolutionizing tire buying since 1979. By Motor Trend On Demand. Visit MotorTrendOnDemand.com. Start your free trial today. And by NGK Spark Plugs, the ignition specialists.
Now, before we head to the action here in Gulfport, let's take a closer look at the track. And it's neatly just off the Gulfport coast in a diamond shape with 2 180s and 6 turns in all. Here's your course in Gulfport. Let's head down now to Heat 2 with Ralph Shaheen and Tim Seabold.
Ready to go with heat race number 2 on a windy day here in Gulfport, Florida. And we're off, and you're on board with Dustin Terry as the field storms away from the dock, headed to the first corner.
Man, the wind's really picking up, and it's got the water turned up. You can see in the first turn on the west end that these guys are having all kinds of problems getting the boats turned around.
And this is the first saltwater race of the year as you take a look at the 95 of Mark Welch, and that saltwater is going to impact this race.
It sure does. Saltwater's more buoyant, and it holds the boat up, so your propeller selection's slightly different. But then you have the problem with electrical components in the saltwater shorting out.
Spencer Love in the 24 getting around Welch and taking the lead, and that black boat is already powering away.
That Italian-built DAC specializes in rough water, and it's showing today.
Oh, and the red flag comes out. Travis Yates unable to continue, the driver out of Richmond, Texas.
You know, Travis barrel rolled yesterday, and he might have some electrical gremlins in there.
Restart, and off we go again. Onboard view from Tracy Hawkins looking back at the competition.
Tracy finally gets the start he needs, and there's Dustin Terry and Spencer Love breaking out front.
Boy, Love has been so good as we restart heat number 2. 3 wide.
Oh, they're all piled up. Mark Welch leads them out of the first turn.
And Love on the outside showing the strength down that straightaway. In that rough water, that boat is running beautifully.
You know, the DACs run a little bit flatter than the American-built boats, so you can really see it just carries over the rough water very well.
You can see some of the yaw of the boats back behind them really fighting to get through that water.
Boy, we got a heck of a race going on for 2nd through 5th place. We got Mark Welch, Greg Foster, Tracy Hawkins, Wesley Cheatham, and Dustin Terry all vying for position.
And of course, Hawkins, the winner of the season opener at Port Neches, Texas.
You can see these boats bouncing around. They can't keep enough air underneath them to get over the rough water.
There you see the 53.
Greg Foster.
Foster in that yellow boat.
Going around Dustin Terry. You know, it's not how fast you can go, it's how well you can stay in the water and drive forward in this kind of conditions.
A lot of pleasure boat traffic through this area. You can see it in the background, and that impacts the water and what these racers are having to deal with as far as the conditions, as Spencer Love out of Santa Rosa Valley, California continues to lead here.
Yeah, the pleasure boat wakes really cause a problem because when it's a wind consistent rough, you can kind of deal with it. But when you get that big wave coming through, it messes you up totally.
Everybody trying to pick the right lane here.
You know, you really can't see that well in the salt water with the spray because it leaves kind of a haze on the water, so it makes it even harder.
Love still out front, 7th overall in the championship last year. Still out in front of Welch and Hawkins.
They're fighting tooth and nail. Some of the other guys are falling off the pace a little bit. Greg Foster seems like he's slowing down. Wesley Cheatham.
Spencer Love wins heat race number 2. We'll be right back for more of the NGK Sparkplugs Formula One Powerboat Championship.
Welcome back to Gulfport, to the NGK F1 Powerboat Series, round 2. And our tech feature this week is all about boat design.
My name is Bill Seabold from St. Louis, Missouri, and I designed some of the boats. There are about 4 or 5 different manufacturers here. This happens to be a Seabold boat we're standing in front of. In 34 years, I built about 450 of them. It's a tunnel boat, which tunnels the air underneath the boat to get it off the water. And a driver is actually trying to fly the boat just above the water like an airplane and keep the propeller of the engine in the water for thrust. The biggest change is safety. The reinforced cockpit area, which came in '89, just like IndyCar and NASCAR, you're strapped in with a 5-point harness and a carbon fiber reinforced cockpit area that's pretty much bulletproof. And the only thing different with us, obviously, was when you go upside down at 120 miles an hour, you're underwater. Well, I'm just proud the way our boats have evolved, and they've been kind of the trendsetter for the last 30 years. You know, if you can beat a Seabold boat, you beat the best, and that's the reputation we've had, and I'm probably more proud of that than anything else.
Welcome back to Gulfport, Florida. Time to show you how the other classes put on their show. Keep an eye on the 52 of Chris Rinker. Boy, he dominated in that new boat today.
He sure did. He had that thing dialed in, kept it in the water, lapped the entire field.
Yeah, but his dad, Scary Jerry, was pretty good too.
He did. All 3 Rinker teammates on the podium, with Daryl Middleton rounding out 3rd place.
Chris takes the win, his 73-year-old dad in 2nd, and Daryl on the far right in 3rd. And then if you think it's rough in the Formula One boats, the shorter Formula Lights really took a pounding.
Oh.
Look at Austin Cheatham stuffing in nose first.
Wow, they're jumping, bobbing around. They look like corks out there.
But the one to keep an eye on here was Kelly Ireland, right there in the green and white boat. Her first career win and only her 2nd start.
You know, Kelly's boat won here last year.
We're coming right back.
That's right, more action to come, but first let's talk to our pole man for the final, Spencer Love.
It was rough. You got to be on your toes the whole way around the course. I mean, every second you're thinking out there. All these race courses, you get a little smooth water. You know, you can relax a little bit when you're out there. And this race course, you come in pretty pumped up and tired just from you thinking the whole time. And I don't know, the adrenaline, and it's a lot of fun though. Going into the final race, I'm gonna try and cool off, cool down because it's really hot out here. Drink some fluids and be ready. It's gonna be a long final.
Wise words from Spencer Love, and we'll take a short break as well, and we'll be ready when we come back. Join us after this.
NGK F1 Powerboat Championship on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979. By Motor Trend On Demand. Visit MotorTrendOnDemand.com. Start your free trial today. And by NGK Spark Plugs, the ignition specialists.
Thumbs up from Tracy Hawkins. He's ready to go. Let's once again join our commentary team of Ralph Shaheen and Tim Seabold.
Welcome back to Gulfport, Florida, getting ready for our main event as you take a look at the starting grid. And Spencer Love has been so strong. That Clover team has really been solid today.
They've had a great weekend so far. Let's see if he can carry it to the final. But I don't think there's a big advantage being on pole on this dock start.
It's actually a 2-dock start. The second dock just to the right side of the screen. Here we go. And we're underway.
Well, you can see how the wind really is pushing those guys around. It was hard to line them up.
That wind blowing between 15 and 20 miles an hour.
Dustin Terry gets a fantastic start, comes around the outside. He's going to lead the way.
And Love, you can see him tucked on to the inside.
Spencer Love likes to hug those buoys and stay on the inside. And Wesley Cheatham in the red boat coming around the outside of Dustin Terry.
Cheatham in the number 4. Boy, I thought he was going over there.
Man, if you're going to run up front, you're going to have to take some chances. And you just saw one right there from Wesley.
Tim, these racers are going to be battling as we go on. Oh, we got a boat stopped in the water here. That's the 96 of Fred Durr.
Man, that is a bad place to be. Thank goodness he got it started so he could get out of the race line.
I was going to say just before Durr was stalled out there, as we go back to Cheatham and Love battling here, these racers have to battle with the throttle and the trim here.
You really do, because in the rough water, you've got to trim the nose of the boat up by trimming the engine out, changing the angle with the water, and that allows you to carry over the rough water, but you have to get off the gas a little bit to do that.
Cheatham and Foster, you saw them hold a hull. And Foster in the 53, the yellow boat, getting around Spencer Love's black number 24. as they all chase Dustin Terry.
We got 5 of them bunched up all the way back to Tracy Hawkins in the 02, Wesley Cheatham in the 04 there. Tracy's making the pass stick.
Boy, there is no calm water anywhere here today, but it looks a little bit smoother closer to the buoy.
It does. You get into Ciega Bay there, and it smoothens out slightly, but none of it's good.
So tight here. Not a lot of room to maneuver as Foster hangs on in second. You can see how tough the visibility is as he comes up around the outside.
Dustin got hopping a little bit and couldn't get the boat settled down. Greg drove around him on the outside. Whoa, Greg puts it up on its side a little bit. It's not smooth anywhere on this course, so you cannot rest for 1 second.
You have to run the waves a little bit different than if it was a smooth race, how you approach this style of driving.
Exactly, because you can't air the boat out and get it as free as you want to, like you can on smooth water. Whoa, Dustin Terry nosedived it on the back straightaway in the triple-digit area.
He stuffs it right in on board with him. Watch this!
Oh. Wow, that hurts. You're going from 100 plus down to 0 in 10 feet. That takes a toll on your neck, your back. Thankfully, you're in a safety cell and you're strapped in, but he is not happy.
Takes a toll on his helmet, too, as he tosses it in frustration. Another restart as we get back underway with our main event here in Gulfport.
Spencer gets a great jump off the dock in the second position, getting past Greg.
He has been so good on those starts all day long. What is he doing that's making him so quick off the gate?
You know, his boat's not bouncing like the rest of them, and I don't think he's trimming it out enough. He's letting the rough water just pick him up rather than using the trim.
Boy, it's working for now as Love goes back to the lead.
Foster's trying to pick it up on the outside. Greg will drive in hard on the outside, but when you're on the inside of the course, you can pick your own line, and it's an advantage.
It's been working for him all day as we're on board with Ashton Rinker.
Ashton's been methodically picking his way through the pack after a bad start, all the way up to third position.
Rinker out of Riverview, Florida. Again, Spencer Love continuing to lead in that black, silver, and orange number 24.
He's staying on the inside, and Foster's having to push it, take extra chances on the outside, trying to run him down.
And Foster's having to deal with more lap traffic on the outside as well.
He sure is. Guys seem like they're staying outside more than they are right on the buoy line, and it's helping the number 24, Spencer Love. Tracy Hawkins working past Ruben Stafford.
Hawkins, the season opening winner. White flag is out. One more lap to go here in Gulfport.
These guys are tired. Their boats have been beating them up. They're ready for this to be over. Bring it home.
This day has been all about Spencer Love and the Clover team. Still having to fight through some slower traffic here as he makes his way to the checkered flag. And Spencer Love will win in Gulfport, Florida. Round number 2 goes to the Clover team.
Man, congratulations to those guys. Spencer, all his crew, they did a fantastic job this weekend.
He pops the canopy and the celebration is underway as he comes past the big VIP hospitality area where the start docks were. And Spencer and the Clover crew gonna celebrate this one. Here's a look at the final results. Love, Foster, and Rinker, the top 3 on the podium. And how about the Welch family? Son Tyler finishing 5th in front of his dad Mark, and Bill Joel coming home in 7th. Let's hear from our top 2, beginning with 2nd place, Greg Foster.
Boy, that's the wind really came up in the afternoon here, and it became just a treacherous course, but what a great time we had. Spencer and I fought it out for many, many laps. Finally passed him somewhere through the race and got around him a little bit, but just couldn't hold on, and he got me back. He did, you know, we had a great time, great race, and a great competitor.
It feels really good. I mean, this weekend was just unbelievable for me. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we were fast all weekend. I never thought I'd sweep the weekend, so I mean, it was a pretty amazing weekend.
And with the win, Spencer Love takes over the points lead as we head next to Nashville and the Cumberland River.
couldn't be any more different than this race course. Cumberland is very narrow on a river, freshwater.
For Tim Siebold, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Congratulations to Spencer Love on winning the NGK Sparkplugs Formula One Powerboat Championship from Gulfport, Florida.
This has been a production by Greenlight Television of the NGK F1 Powerboat Series for CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
And once again, a big thanks to Tim Siebold and Ralph Shaheen. Hope you've enjoyed the action from round 2 here in Gulfport. As next, we head to round 3 in Nashville, Tennessee. From me, Jonathan Green, until then, goodbye for now.